Good morning. It's Tuesday, March 4th, and here's what we're working on this morning. The long-anticipated North America trade war has begun.
U.S. President Donald Trump is ordering a pause on shipments of military aid to Ukraine.
And Carl Dean, Dolly Parton's husband of nearly 60 years, who inspired the song Jolene, has died. Good morning, and thank you for making us part of your morning. Louis Bucko and Annette Hom, Brian Wood here with you. Happy
morning.
Tuesday. You are in a great mood because you are getting some very well-deserved time off.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So we got you one more day.
Yes.
Which we're excited to have you. Brian, we're going to be stuck here for a few more days throughout the rest of the week.
Yes, we are. If you want to put it like that.
Say it's stuck. You get to be.
Let me watch my wording here this morning. We get to be here this morning, the rest of the week, and we're going to get treated to some decent weather.
Well,
if we want to call it that.
You would call it milder.
Okay.
That's the good thing, is that we're going to have milder temperatures, like today, +6, and then tomorrow, +11. However, it's going to get really wet. We could get some flurries this morning, some ice pellets, even some freezing rain in some areas, but then we're going to get showers later today. However, the rain settles in overnight tonight and becomes heavy at times. Special weather statements all around southern Ontario, talking about maybe 15 to 25 millimeters of rain during the day tomorrow, and maybe some thunderstorm activity as well. But yeah, we're going to have that southerly push, so we're going to get 11 degrees tomorrow, 6 degrees for the day today. We're mild at +2 right now. No precipitation right now. It is just partly cloudy, and we'll talk about that coming up. All right, looking at traffic this morning, quick check, nothing happening. 403 Waterdown Road, all doing fine so far today, so as you can see right there, not a lot to see. We'll go to some MTO traffic cameras, show you a Red Hill Creek camera, Toronto bound away from us, now Toronto bound towards us, top of the Skyway Bridge, at the Burl Oak as you're going from Burlington to Oakville towards us. Nothing to see there, nothing to see generally around the Horseshoe. But take it carefully, as you usually do. We'll look at weather and traffic coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
All right, thank you, Brian. The long-anticipated trade war has begun between the United States and Canada now that President Donald Trump has moved forward with slapping 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. Simone Gavros joins us live from Hamilton's waterfront, which will be affected, with more.
Hi, Louis. Well, yes, U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed that he has moved forward with slapping these 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. That went into effect as of 12:01 today, and it's going to have devastating impacts on our local economy as well. Trump said yesterday that there was no more room to make a deal after that midnight deadline was approaching. Now, on a local level, Hamilton Mayor Andrea Horwath said that this is going to have devastating impacts on the jobs right here in our city.
The tariffs on the kind of blanket tariffs, if you will, on manufacturing, we're talking just for the Hamilton area, like just Hamilton, some 28,000 jobs. And when you push that out in terms of the broader metropolitan area, the census metropolitan area, so surrounding communities, that's close to 40,000 jobs. That's a lot. We're talking $1 billion in trade. It is not something that we can just let happen to us. We have to fight, and that's what we're doing.
The across-the-board tariffs on both Canada and Mexico also includes a 10% levy on Canadian energy. Now, last night, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says that the tariffs are unjustified and violate the free trade agreement between Canada, U.S., and Mexico. Trudeau says the tariffs will be met with retaliatory measures. Canada will be responding with 25% tariffs on $155 billion of American goods. It'll start with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods right away, and then more tariffs will be added on the remaining $125 billion worth of products in 21 days. These tariffs are going to remain in place until the U.S. withdraws its trade action. Meantime, Premier Doug Ford says he's implementing a government buy Ontario and buy Canadian policy. He's also ready to make stores mark their products so that people know when they're buying Canadian or not. Ford also continues to threaten more action to win the tariff war, which includes cutting off Ontario electricity to the U.S. He had this to say last night on NBC News when it comes to critical minerals.
I will stop shipments going into the U.S. for nickel. It will shut down manufacturing because 50% of the nickel you use is coming out of Ontario. I've ordered our bureaucrats to cut off tens of billions of dollars of contracts that we have with the U.S. We are the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We buy over 3,600 products from 35 states. I talked to the governor of Kentucky and Mitch McConnell. Don't touch our bourbon. I'm going after absolutely everything.
Now, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has a press conference scheduled for later this morning at 10:30, where he'll be responding to these tariffs from the U.S. For now, news back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much. And more news coming out of the Oval Office. U.S. President Donald Trump is now pausing military aid to Ukraine. The order comes after that spat at the White House with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky on Friday. An official says the pause applies to all military equipment not yet in Ukraine. It includes shipments of critical munitions that were previously announced by the Biden administration. Officials note the pause in military aid could be lifted if Zelensky enters peace talks with Russia.
He said he thinks the war's going to go on for a long time, and he better not be right about that. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal, and if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long, because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. Considers himself to be better than Russia.
And Trump and his aides are looking for Zelensky to acknowledge the breakdown in relations. Possibly they want a public apology from him.
Meanwhile, federal Liberal leadership candidate and former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland stressed the need for continued support for Ukraine. She says while Ukrainians are fighting for their democracy and sovereignty, they're also fighting for ours.
That rules-based international order that Ukraine is fighting for, its principal idea is you're not allowed to invade your neighbor just because you're bigger and you have a bigger army. That's a rule that matters a lot to Canada as well. We need to be very, very focused right now on our Arctic. The sort of cozy chumminess that we're seeing between President Trump and President Putin is something that could well have implications for our north.
Freeland making those comments while touring Stelco in Hamilton yesterday. Now, because of that, Freeland says Canada needs a new security partnership with Europe, the UK, and Norway to defend our own security as well.
BMO Field is going to be undergoing a number of renovations ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The $150 million dollars in upgrades has already started, with capacity being temporarily increased from 28,000 to 45,000 for the tournament. There's also going to be improved LED lighting, enhanced audio systems, and expanded Wi-Fi. And there will be self-serve technology powered by AI streamlined concession stands and enhancements to BMO Field. In addition to Toronto and Vancouver, there are 14 host cities in the U.S. and Mexico. The World Cup is set to run from June 11th to July 19th of next year, and Canada will have 13 of the 104 matches.
Lots of exciting stuff there. Let's talk more sports, and let's start on the ice, where the Leafs were looking for a 6th straight win. They were taking on the league worst Sharks at home last night.
Tavares, Marner, picked up by Sturm. Tavares gets room. Matthews in tight across. They go. They score. It's powered home by Matthew Nyes.
Well, how about that for the second day in a row? Matthew Nyes finding the back of the net with very little time left in the period. Sunday, it was 0.1 seconds. Last night, a bit more breathing room, 4.5 seconds left in the period. That's Nyes' 24th of the season. That gave the Leafs a 2-0 lead after 2. But jump to the third period, 2-1 Leafs. Sharks Alexander Wenberg with the wraparound before finding Tyler Toffoli, who puts it into the wide open cage. Toffoli's got his 23rd of the season. We're tied at 2. Rest of the third and overtime would solve nothing. This one needed a shootout.
7-1. We'll take it wide. Look for an angle. And get it! A dart! Fabian's Zetterlund gets it done. San Jose wins in shootout.
Yeah, Fabian Zetterlund ends the game in the shootout as the Sharks stun the Leafs. They take it 3-2 the final. Sticking with hockey.
Kulik wants to go to the bench, but he's got to stay out there now because here comes Montreal. Scores!
In Montreal last night, Nick Suzuki had a 4-point night, and Mike Matheson ended the game in overtime as Montreal Canadiens held on for a 4-3 win for their 5th straight victory. The win moved the Habs 1 point back of the Red Wings for the second wildcard spot. All right, let's turn our attention to basketball, where it seems like every morning I'm coming on here and telling you about another monster game from Hamilton's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Well, this morning, no different.
Houston starting to go cold here from the floor. Thunder taking advantage. Lead continues to build. Hartenstein gives it up. SGA spots up wide open for three, and he knocks it down.
Yeah, the former Sir Alan McNabb Lion went off again, finishing with 51 points to help lead the Thunder to a 137-128 victory over the Houston Rockets. The 26-year-old leads the league with 32.6 points per game, and with another 50-plus game becomes the 12th player to accomplish the feat 4 times in a season in NBA history. But here is SGA after the game on why he doesn't consider himself among the greats yet.
Obviously, stats and the individual stuff puts you in another stratosphere, but to get over that hump and to be like regarded as one of the better players to ever play, you have to win, because if you don't win, then it's all for nothing. That's just how I see it, and that's how I see it in golf. That's how I see it in football. That's how I see it in competition, period. And winning is the be-all, end-all for me.
Very cool what he's doing right now. Sticking with basketball, the WNBA's Toronto Tempo, which is set to join the league next year, has just announced an all-time great athlete is joining their ownership group. The league announcing Serena Williams will be joining the ownership group of the new WNBA franchise that will call Toronto home in 2026. The 23-time Grand Slam singles titles winner is partnering with Larry Tannenbaum, chairman of Kilmer Sports Ventures. Williams will also play an active role in future jersey designs.
Time to get going here. 4th morning of March. It's 12 minutes after 6, almost 13 minutes after 6 o'clock. Let's get into traffic, and then we'll do the forecast for you. Traffic this morning moving nicely. Nothing to see right now. It's pretty light volume. That's the 403 and Waterdown Road area. That is the camera we put up there, so looks good. How about we go back into St. Catharines and see if we can find anything? And I'm not finding anything. QEW 7th looking good there. Oh, that camera was just there. Here's the Fairview Street camera. So Toronto bound lanes coming off the Skyway Bridge towards us. You can see it's already starting to get busy through here. Nothing at east of Royal Windsor. Flip ahead to Cooksville Creek, all doing fine. So, to our temperature this morning. Remember yesterday morning? We were -8 with a wind chill of -12. Look at that temperature. +2 right now. +2 thanks to that south-southwesterly flow, 21 kilometers an hour, fairly light. Humidity is comfortable. We do have a mainly cloudy sky. No precipitation at the moment. But for school today, as we get closer to March break week next week, we're going to get some showers. We could even get some freezing drizzle this morning. That is possible. But later on today, when we hit that 6-degree high, it's just going to be showers. It'll be cloudy for the day as well. Look what is approaching. This, all the green, the brighter colors are the heavy downpours. That's going to cross us. We could even get some thunderstorms during the day tomorrow as the cold front goes through and starts to drop our temperatures. But it's going to be mild for the next couple of days, like today. Yesterday, we got to 2 degrees. Well, actually 1 in the afternoon. Today, 5, 6, and 7 around the horseshoe. Cloudy skies. There's that mixing possible this morning and then showers later on. Tonight, it's a rain. It's going to settle in. Temperature will sit about 3 degrees, actually right around the horseshoe, even Guelph and Kitchener. So above seasonal overnight tonight. Tomorrow, 12 degrees for Niagara. 11 here this end of the lake. A little cooler for Halton, Peel, Toronto. 8 and 9 degrees, but they've just upped the amount of precipitation now to 15 to 25 millimeters possible for the day tomorrow. Going to be a wet day tomorrow and lots of melting happening. So out the door this morning, mostly cloudy, mild side temperature. That's a seasonal daytime high this time of year. We're sitting at +2 right now. Long range coming up. Annette, Louis.
Okay, thank you.
All right, off and running here on your Tuesday. Coming up after the break, we'll say good morning to Emily Vukovic. She's got a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And we'll check business as well, where major stock indexes dropped sharply after Trump announced steep tariffs on imports. We'll have more coming up. All right, welcome back. Time for a look at what's coming up in Chit Chat. Emily Vukovic is here. What's up, Emily?
Hello. Hi, good morning. Well, we're starting off with some very sad news. Dolly Parton's husband has passed away, so we will talk about
60
that.
years.
60 years.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just amazing love story. We will discuss. Mattel is introducing us to some brand new Barbies ahead of International Women's Day. And later on in the show, an Oscar speech this weekend broke a new world record.
For shortest Oscar speech?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I might know where you're going with this one. All right, we'll talk to you in a bit.
I'll be there.
Okay. All right, checking business news. The Canadian dollar has rebounded this morning. It's up 34 basis points from last night, still under 70 cents, 69.30 cents U.S. Gold is up $29.50 an ounce, and crude is down 68 cents to $67.69 a barrel. Meanwhile, in midday European trading, markets are down in London, Frankfurt, and Paris this morning.
In Asia, markets were down in Tokyo and Hong Kong today, up just a little bit in Shanghai. North American markets, let's see what happens this morning after a major blow following Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods. So Bay Street was down almost 400 points, led by losses in energy, tech, and base metals. The Dow on Wall Street was down 649 points. The Nasdaq lost almost 500.
Meanwhile, U.S. stock futures continuing the downtrend this morning after yesterday's sell-off. Investors are closely watching for Trump's tariffs on Canada and Mexico, which are set to take effect today. In yesterday's regular session, the S&P posted its biggest loss since December, dropping over 100 points. This morning, U.S. stock futures are trading lower by just a bit across the board. New York Federal Reserve President John Williams is set to speak this afternoon, and earnings season continues with results from Best Buy, AutoZone, Target, and CrowdStrike due later today.
Business groups say trade uncertainty between Canada and the U.S. has already caused damage. The public policy chief for the Canadian Chamber of Commerce says Donald Trump's threats are eroding our country's investment climate and trust. The head of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business says some small and medium-sized companies, they're already lining up alternate suppliers to the states, while others have put the brakes on expansions. The Federation says broad tariffs are the worst-case scenario.
Canadians traveling into the U.S. have multiple options to save on converting their Canadian currency into U.S. dollars. Experts say credit card companies typically offer the best consumer rates compared with ATMs or cash exchanges. Some points of sale will give customers a choice of being charged in Canadian or U.S. dollars, but the federal government's travel website urges travelers to always choose to be charged in the currency of the country you are in to avoid high conversion rates and transaction fees.
A U.S. company is buying a Canadian-based retirement home operator. Real estate investment trust Welltower is paying $4.6 billion for Amica Senior Lifestyles. It's paying the money to the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan for 31 seniors' residences and 7 that are under construction. Welltower CEO says the deal comes amid rapidly growing demand and limited supply for seniors' residences.
All right, taking a break right now. Brian will be back with traffic and your 7-day forecast.
Good morning, 624, the 4th of March here, looking at our MTO traffic cameras, QEW east of Lake St. Catharines, no problems whatsoever, light volume. Top of the Skyway Bridge starting to really bog down, as you can see, coming out of Stony Creek towards us, toward Burlington. That's getting slow. Burl Oak still looks good. Nothing at Erin Mills Parkway. 403 at Dundas, pretty light volume. That's generally how it looks this morning, but just some pockets starting to build. Looking at our temperature right now, we are sitting at +2 to start the day today. Yesterday at this time we were -8, wind chill of -12. So 2 for Toronto, 0 Grimsby, +1 for Mississauga. Seasonals for this time of year are +2 for the daytime high. So that's where we're sitting right now. -6 for the overnight low. Those are our sun times. Records for today, record high for today, 13.3 back in 1964. Now we could get some mixing precipitation this morning, temperature dependent. Temperature could dip a little bit by the first bell this morning, +1 and cloudy skies. This afternoon, the rain will be with us. Well, actually, it's just going to be some showers. It'll be rain beginning overnight, but a 6-degree high for today. So that's today. Tonight, temperature falls to 3. The rain begins in earnest overnight. And then tomorrow, 15 to 25 millimeters of rain, maybe even a thunderstorm. If you get thunderstorms, you can always get some heavy downpours as well. So cloudy skies for the day tomorrow. Tapers off to some drizzle, some showers later in the afternoon. Then Thursday, +1, still some mixing possible. Temperatures stay on the plus side each and every day in the next 7 days. So 4 on Friday, nice day, +1 on Saturday and Sunday, and 3 degrees for Monday. Don't forget, time change weekend this weekend. It's forecast. Net, Louis.
All right, thank you, Brian. Now, despite the rain, that looks like Brian's best 7-day forecast this year. Just going to put it out there. Just putting it out there. All right, a little guy in Hagersville is getting a lot of attention in Canada's largest baby photo contest.
13-month-old Cohen Barker has received more than 12,000 online votes as of this morning. The Montreal-based company New Baby that's running this contest offers platforms for new parents to connect. So they're going to announce the winner of their... 2024 baby photo contest soon. Voting is open until the end of the month. The winner gets $1,000 cash, $1,000 in an RESP, and a $500 grocery voucher. Cohen is a Facebook group with more than 350 members. His mom posts the pics and updates almost every day. Now, if he wins, prize money is going to be set aside for his education. Registration for this year's baby contest is open in April.
Those are some blue eyes on that baby.
Yes.
That good luck. Good luck to that little guy for sure. All right, stay with us. We have more to come after the break.
Baby, baby, baby.
Nice.
Baby, baby.